Hey, Gary here with you. Day 54. We're inside of Koala. We're going to be going to Koala Writer. We're going to be using GPT-4 to write a blog post. You can also see they've added some new options, and that's what we're covering today. All the different options that Koala Writer has added since we started this case study. Of course, we've used the Amazon product roundup. The YouTube video to blog post we haven't done yet, but I'm excited to try that one. But of course, that comes with the issue of first, in my opinion, needing your own YouTube video, not using someone else's, but we'll take a look at that a little later on. But right now we need a target keyword to get this started. So we'll pop back over to our handy dandy blog post tracker. Here you can see we're in Cosmology Basics blog post. We're going to be going for the keyword Big Bang Theory history. So we're going to paste that in there, and then we're going to scroll down and set a few of these options and also take a look at these. SEO optimization. We use manual here when we're using the rank IQ research, and the default option just uses the keyword. I like the AI powered option. The tone of voice, we've covered that, and we saw that fantastic was the word that Koala basically lives on when we change it to excited or casual or humorous. So we're going to stick with SEO optimized to see what we get. Language, English, country, United States, point of view, third person. Use real-time search results. Here we have a new option, real-time source filtering. You have the default, then you have scholarly, and then you have custom. Here you can see you can add custom search operators. If you check out here, the documentation, Koala has explained that they have three options. They have default. This option uses all of the top ranking pages in the SERP and behaves the same as before, which is what we'll be using. Then you have scholarly, where it only uses sources available from Google Scholar, and then custom, where it gets into filtering. You can set a site operator, you can set a file type operator, you can set a DA or the domain authority score for it to pull information from or to get data to write the article. So again, we're going to go ahead and go back to default. We have turned on site sources. We're going to use the outline editor. Here's a new one as well. Include an FAQ section. If enabled, we will add a FAQ section based on real-time data. Structured data schema. So you can see here there's a note when using our built-in WordPress integration. So this is going to be setting a schema. So most likely with Groov Blog, this is going to break. So it'll be interesting to see that when we paste it in, what happens. Here we have the advanced options, outline prompt, extra title prompt, extra section prompt. So for the extra section prompt, we will go to our response manager where we're keeping all of our prompts. And we will take this prompt here and paste that into the extra section. I've seen in the past that this gives us better results, and it follows along with what we're doing when we are doing it manually inside of ChatGPT-4 or ChatGPT, because really Koala is just using GPT-4, or in this case, GPT-4 because we selected it, or GPT-3 is the default. There's also a new one here, include key takeaways. If enabled, a new version of the introduction will be used. It includes a key takeaway section. So we're just going to turn all of these new options on, and we're going to go ahead and create that outline. Of course, it's going to take it a few minutes to think about that. So while it's doing that, we'll go ahead and pop into Groov Blog and select create a new post. And we'll go ahead and enter our description there, which will be our H1. This will also be our post slug. So we'll edit that, make it all lowercase. We'll go ahead and set our categories. This is Cosmology Basics. Then we will come back up here, and at that point we need a title before we can save the draft. You can see the Koala is still thinking about this because we have turned on every single option that is available to us inside of Koala Writer, and we're using GPT-4. So this may take some time, so we'll go ahead and pause. And then we'll be right back after it finishes thinking and gives us our outline. So with all the options turned on, that did take a little bit, and plus this is a really big outline. We have our introduction, we have our H2s and H3s. Scroll down, then we also have our frequently asked questions. There is not a conclusions section. Of course, you can always hit add section here. And then if you wanted to, you could just type in conclusion. We're going to go ahead and do that. Let's make sure I spelled conclusion correct. I think that is correct. Add that section. Also inside of Koala at any time, you can go ahead and click edit, and you can add some extra section prompts here, as well as keyword entities per section versus at the beginning when you add the section prompt, which applies to every section. So I'm going to test that a little later with Koala as we get a little more advanced in this. But I wanted to test just all of these options, and you can see that This is a rather lengthy outline, so it's probably going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to chew up a lot of credits as well when we go ahead and click Write Article. But you can see right off the bat, we have our title, so we'll go ahead and copy that. And you can see it has started writing after we copied that, but we copied that to take that back over to Groov Blog, to put that in there, to go ahead and save the draft. While we're here, we'll go ahead and see if we can find a nice stock photo. We'll use the word universe, and then we'll scroll down here, load a few more images. We're getting to the point where we have loaded up and used quite a few of these, and you can see when you use the word universe, you run out of images pretty quick here inside of the free images. I kind of like this one. Something stands out about that. I don't know if it really represents the Big Bang, but all we're looking to do is have a cool looking image at this point, and we'll go ahead and crop and select that. Here's our warning about the untouched version. Of course, I've left that on because I want to see it every time. Otherwise, I would forget. We'll go ahead and crop and select, and then we will save that draft. And now we have our image. The only thing left to do at the end is add the excerpt, which we'll try to do that from inside of Koala Chat, but most likely we'll have to use ChatGPT and a plugin to read the post once we publish it, because this is a rather lengthy post. You can see here it is counting down the words. It is almost up to 400 words as we see it here. And of course, if you scroll down, you can see it actually writing. It's also linking out and citing the resources and the references. It's going to be interesting. I do like this. This is the option here, the key takeaways that it's adding here inside of the introduction. You can see another link here where it cited the resource or cited the reference. We'll have to add some rich anchor text for that one as well to make sure this post gets indexed. But I like this format with this key takeaways, just at a glance, seeing how it looks, because it lets people know that, hey, this is what's going to happen, or this is what you're going to read. These are going to be the key takeaways as you keep reading this blog post that Koala is writing. So we'll go ahead and let that finish writing, and then we'll paste it in and see what happens with the FAQ schema that it comes up with at the end of the post when we post it into Groov Blog. And we are back. I'll go ahead and scroll up here. You can see the word count is still happening, but we are at the conclusion. You can see the frequently asked questions here. I'm interested to see what type of schema that is that they talked about that would be broken if you were connected to their WordPress connector. But the conclusion is still writing, so we're going to go ahead and let that finish. And it shouldn't be too much longer. But just as a quick glance through this before we paste it over into Groov Blog, this is a rather lengthy article, and I do like the format, and I enjoy the capability of being able to download the HTML when it's finished and just hitting the copy button and moving it over to Groov Blog. If you click download, that gives you the HTML there, which is a nice way to save your work in case something happens to your Koala account. Go ahead and click copy, and we'll take this over to Groov Blog, and we will see what happens when we paste it in. Not sure what they're talking about with this schema. Of course, we'd have to do some research on that. Also, maybe paste that into WordPress. But real quick, we can look inside of Google Search Central, and you can see what they're talking about here. They're talking about a frequently asked questions page. They have a very specific schema or data structure, and that's what they're talking about. You can see the examples here where they paste in the HTML, and it has this structure. This gets into the weeds, and it's kind of technical. But lots of times this can break, and that's what they're talking about when they mentioned it at the beginning of the video when we looked, and it said that it might break if you're using their WordPress connector. And I thought this might break also or as well when we copied it over to Groov Blog. But as you can see, it just pasted it in, and it gave the FAQ an H2, and it gave the questions themselves in H3. So at this point, we have a blog post here, but you can see it did add this bar down here. And I actually saw this the other day when I was messing around with a table in the last Koala post. So this is something that is broken now when I've pasted this in with the HTML code inside of Groov Blog. It didn't used to do this. I think maybe they've made an update inside of Groov Blog. What I'm going to do is provide this video to Groov Blog support or Groov support to see what that's all about, because that is messing up my post, or I think it might. But we'll go ahead and we will save this draft. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will publish this to see what it looks like real quick. And of course, I'll go back and I'll make my edits and read it. But I want to see real quick When we scroll down, just leave it this way. I want to see what this looks like when we publish it. So we'll go ahead and click publish, go ahead and exit, and then we'll come back into this post, and then we'll click on this URL. And then here you can see our post. Of course, it has these links that I need to clean up to make sure that it gets indexed. And then you have these other external links or the sources that have been cited. We need to clean all those up. Make sure we're using the best possible anchor text out to those external sites. And then we come down and you can see the schema here. It doesn't seem to be messing it up other than the font looks like a different color, or maybe that's just my eyes looking at it a little different. But definitely here the key takeaways. This font is a different color than this font. So that's definitely something I want to look at with Groov support. But let's take this URL over to GPT-4 and use WebPilot and go ahead and provide that URL. Go up to our response manager, copy the SEO excerpt for this blog post, and go ahead and change this for the blog post at the URL. And keep it below 150 characters and highlight the benefits. And that should reach out with WebPilot, read that blog post that we just created inside of Koala. And there we go. We'll go ahead and copy that. Pop back over to Groov Blog. Go ahead and put that in. We'll get rid of these quotes. And we will click publish again. We'll go ahead and exit that. And you can see now we have our blog post published. And if we were to go back to Koala and click on the Big Bang Theory history, now it should have updated, and you can see here now we have our details. And of course you can see everything that we turned on. We turned on all the articles or all the new switches. SEO optimized level was automatic. Include key takeaways was true. That's right here. I really like that. SEO optimized. I didn't see the word fantastic or fascinating, but here you can see the word fascinating has been used. It looks like 3 times. So we're back to fascinating, but I don't really think it matters that much, and I'm over it. It is the word it likes to use, but we have all of the details right there inside of Koala. If you're enjoying this, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Got any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next update. Bye.